YouTube channel and watch this. It's about a 10-15 second delay. So now this is where it comes in. If I want to have a discussion with a lot of people, and they are all over the place, where I don't want to have all of them interacting with me because that will absolutely trash bandwidth and the programs don't work worth a darn. So I can show that live. I can run that back channel and those people can be watching it. They can be hearing what's happening, seeing what's happening, and they can then ask you the questions through that back channel. Then you can address what their questions, concerns are. So they can't interact quite as actively, but I can still interact with a lot of people at one time. This allows me to run for 8 hours before it'll cut me off. So I can talk a lot, but I think 8 would even be too much for me. Another nice thing with this, I use it a lot more on the teaching end of things. I can use multiple cameras. So from my control bar up here, I can go in and I can switch over and I can go back to the camera that is on my computer, which, you know, there's a lot of exciting stuff going on back there. So I'm gonna go back to the room. I can run as many cameras on this as I want. The only thing that you have to do is you have to have cameras that are different. I have half a dozen of these cameras. It will all show up as just that one right there if I have all 6 plugged into my computer, which granted I don't have quite that many USB ports, so I can't get all of them. I think I can do 4 on here. But if I have 4 different cameras on here, I can see all 4 different cameras. So like from a teaching aspect, when I'm doing demos and different things like that, I have one on the room. I have another one set up on a tripod that I use it kind of like the NaviVision for doing demos, and I set up a couple of different parts of my engineering lab where I've got cameras set up. So I can do something like this and I can switch back and forth between cameras. Now that's getting to be a shade advanced for what most people are going to want to do for a PLC, but it's kind of one of the cool fun things that you can do with it as you get so you do more and more. So we'll go back to the room, a little more interesting. So now that's recording to my YouTube channel. So now as I show you guys that, I'm going to go to the next big function that we use with it, which is the screen sharing. So whatever happens on here is what's getting recorded. Okay. If I went and pulled up and put on the projector without screen sharing, you guys would see what I'm doing, but nobody in a remote location will. So I need to screen share things, even if I'm putting it up on a projector in front of the room in front of me. So that way everybody else can see what I'm doing. So we have a nice screen share button here. Once I get it back up. And I am going to go to, if I can find it, I think I have to move it again. It does help if you're using a lot of windows to separate them. So I got to go back over here for a minute, figure out where I put it. Okay, it's that one. Bum, bum, bum. Let me get back. Not seeing the one I want. So I'm going to take this one. I'm going to share that. So now that one's my Google Drive. So now I'm going to go back in on my screen over here, which is not what's recording. Even though you saw this picture right here is what's recording. This is what's going to be on the video. When I flip back here, this isn't what people are seeing in that video. Okay, so if I go back in, let me open that one up. So this is what everybody's seeing. They're going to see me make this switch over. I'm going to run to my YouTube account. And I'm going to make this look really funky for a minute. Go to my channel. And then here, this is the live video that's happening right now. So if I choose that one, it's going to play. And of course, everybody's seeing this play. This will be fairly choppy on the recorded end. But everything that you're seeing on there is going to be about a 10-second or so delay. So I'd already popped this up. Now it's popping up. This is live. Anybody can watch this. Now this is when we start to get the screens showing up one after another, after another, after another. So you don't necessarily want to play videos of what you're showing in a room. It gets a little bit funky.
Now, can this be recorded?
It is being recorded right now.
So you could save it, and if somebody missed the meeting, you could just send
Yep.
it.
Yep. As soon as I end this meeting and I stop this broadcast down at the bottom, it is automatically saved on YouTube. So you can send that link to anybody that missed a meeting. It's wonderful for doing online classes because if somebody misses a class, there you go. Watch it and email me any questions. So now through all the delays, everything's getting really funky. So I'm going to stop sharing that. So now when I stop sharing this, it's going to go back to my video. So that share function is really where you're able to interact with people, whether it's a website, whether it's a document. I can pull up that question document that you guys are going to work with shortly here. I can utilize any of those, but I want to make sure I share through that screen sharing if I've got that audience elsewhere. Otherwise, they won't see what I put up on the board. Okay, so it does get a little bit tricky, and that's where it helps to have somebody manage it and practice with it before you try to do a meeting. It will run so much smoother. Kind of back to that back, I should pause for a second. I've been throwing a lot of stuff at you guys. As you're processing, are there any questions anybody has? And feel free to blurt them out.
What's the yellow app? Not the Google Hangout, but what are you doing live? What's it
Okay,
called?
that is using this one-click hangout.
One click.
Yep, and that's what opens up the broadcast. And you can get into the broadcast by going through 5,000 different things, and it's not easy. So that's why I use the one-click. You making, oh, nice.
I'm sorry.
Nice. So,
Sorry.
no, you keep going.
No.
Keep going. That is one of the interesting things. You do have some artwork and stuff. You can put some different tags and flags and names and different things you can show on there. Another thing you can do, kind of back to that whole back channel concept, those people that are there and that are in the room with you, like Mr. Williams, he can jump in the chat and ask questions through there. So if you're, yep.
What if someone drops out of the conversation or out of the broadcast? How do they get back in?
Okay, it should, why don't we do that? Drop out. Okay, so we lost you. So now you see on your window right here, and I know you guys can't see this. Let me see if I can bring one up that you can. I'm not going to do it through screen share, so this won't get recorded. So this Hangouts, and this is going to make a call for me, so it's going to be kind of irritating here for a second. It should pop up this little window right here. And of course, we've got some overlap on the screen. I'm going to try to get to what I want. Of course, it's not going to be nice to me. Not at all. Okay. So when that pops up, you see that little, where it says Hangouts here? That little bar pops up on the corner of your web browser. Okay, so now that he's out, he can still see me in there that there's a conversation. So click back on that conversation again. Close this. And then I need to go back and find mine. So you back in now?
Yeah.
So I'm watching it on YouTube on this screen right now. Trying to find the right one. Because here again, I have entirely way too many things open. And again, these are the glitches and bobbles that you are going to run into. I mean, it's just, there it is. Just part of the game. So you have to be comfortable with those little uncomfortable pauses. And sometimes you have to take that time to make the adjustment. They can knock away something. So now Vince was able to get back into the room by just clicking back on to that hangout. And again, that's where the importance of utilizing that extension in the browser really come in, because it allows you to do that a lot more easily. When we first started messing with this, everybody wanted to try to go to their Gmail and pick up notifications there, and there are other apps, and the extension is the way to go. It is just the way to go. So now that I've kind of shown you guys a whole bunch of stuff, I'd like you guys to rate the 4 or 5 different groups. Probably 4 or 6 different groups. Even numbers later on. So those people that were in the group class, just stick your hands up again. So we have a good chunk of people, 2 or 3, 4, 5, 6 of you. And how many of them? 1, 2, 3, 4. That'll work out almost. So if you guys I think we have to have one group of 3. Everybody kind of get together and open up that document that has questions on advantages and disadvantages. I want you guys to just spend some time. If you want to go groups of 4 to start with, so you have more people to talk to, go right ahead. For the next part of the review, I'll have you go down to those pairs. So we'll probably start with groups of 4. And you can do that kind of thing, move around. Just kind of discuss how you see using this, advantages, disadvantages. What are some problems? What are some things you really like? What are some questions that you may have after getting all this information dumped on you? So spend some time, probably 10 minutes or so, just discussing and possible other options. If you have a question, what about this program? Or is there something else I can do to access web pages? Whatever it may be, kind of use that form in there to throw those questions up, and then I'll have you guys share out in about 10 minutes here.
And that's how I'm using it. Just, collaborating, not only with people in Fargo, throughout the state.
If there's a schedule thing where it doesn't go, somebody can still just same word of mouth. Recorded, so you can really see what.
And so that's a struggle too, finding when the sixth grade teacher or the math teacher, starts having some space.
Great, but we don't.
But our North PLC is still at the same time.
Maybe I could be wrong. I guess we try.
Oh, because I was remembering how I had a World Coach. Right.
This would be more to be able to like learn or interacting with another class or to stay. But that's what I take on the side. Yeah, that's so, because that way the teacher and I you know what I mean? So we both know where each other is from, so we know where we're from, and I can see
Here are my questions. You guys got the answers on your end.
We ask a question.
Hey, you guys do it again, keep sitting. You got any additional branch you want to really stop at? So 3 days, you gotta connect to this.
Yeah. I mean, that's really cool. Still that I school too, so how more or texting like something could pop up right on your screen. And that's just how it's not far to drive. No,
So it's still inconvenient, like I go the other way home.
Yeah.
It's inconvenient a lot for me to go that way, and then have to come back, so you know what I mean?
Yeah. So that is not something. No, it's hard. So.
Yeah.
And again, through you guys' conversation, those potential uses, advantages, and disadvantages, please have somebody record those.
No names.
No name. I was more. But I still need those for, you know, I still want to work on it.
So,
Someone is natural, like, you and Dad gave that opportunity to new challenges. Some of it is it's a culture.
I got it set up in my mouth.
It's gonna be interesting to see how that's gonna change. Or some of the ideas behind this. I don't know this one. I like this. Most people don't. You know, exactly.
You try to put any.
You know, that we have more agendas and that sort of stuff, because I think that's gonna be just like, I know that's a big part of it. You know, and you have
We saw. Whatever. He got coaching. That's opportunity. And it was sports.
and we get together and discuss it. You know, once that hopefully gets baked on.
It's coaching.
So there's a lot of different ways we can start, and there definitely is. But now, I don't know if it's the spring semester.
And you have to say.
That's my next step. It doesn't happen. No, it's just hang out. You know, and that's the difference. Hang out, trust whatever happens here happens here. We just use the hang out. We don't use the podcast, we don't need to. You know, so you have all the same functionality, you just don't have Trevor's broadcast is considered content, and it allows people to watch it live. If you want to do a live stream. Like, I got a friend of mine that's and there's people who watch and they ask questions. His wife sits there on the side and that they're asking questions and stuff. So you have like these little partners sitting all over the place that are texting questions or calling. So she'll answer your calls and they'll answer questions. You know, so there's a lot of ways you can play with it. And it's a matter of like these skills, whether you want to or you don't want to. So if you don't want to want so we want to be done early. This is always hard. I can really go for camera on this. I do remember you, Susan. It's been a long time. Fargo now. She is. Well, she's in Hawaii. Yeah, and then she moved back. It's been quite a while. Business degree and was construction. And so they've really expanded well. Yeah, they're the busy season right now. So yeah, she doesn't have any kids. So you obviously.
Right. So it's really happy there for Ridge is already constitutionally provided. I mean, we would find that. Like for us, to take our patients out.
Yeah, but I knew your mom.
Like my husband went to the session.
Okay, she.
Yeah, exactly. Recorded that last. Yeah. You know, like our last time. Yeah. Or we're, you know, something like, yeah, okay, you went to yesterday, you have to take the quiz or something like that. So.
Oh, yeah. The minor focus is great. We're on the line. Our houses.
Yeah, no, I.
Doing something, he means well, and technology wise, he's on top of it.
Yeah.
It's incredible. He's good. He just, there's a way it's. He just, and he's a guy, you know. This is all right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He started.
Yeah.
He starts to get 2 AP classes. That's good. I was trying to do a PLC, but it overloaded last year. I don't know what he has to do. I found everything as his challenge. Without like an actual textbook. He's still saying and doors and that's a good system. What they do, they're doing that's cool.
Yeah.
The testing that's based on reading, the synthesizing information.
Yeah, the aptitude stuff is really
Daughter, 18. I did a picture. This was earlier. We saw that dog. She's hilarious. She's moving all over the place. She walked in 7 months. So that's good. My wife she was working in Old She lost her job at the farm. Didn't like it. At all day, and she just took a job at the University of Alumni. So took a pay cut, but she actually more motivated, more happy to do. And
a few minutes.
lost about 70 pounds. Lost her hair. But mentally,
So I think we're at a good break point.
she's getting better. Mentally, I was worried about it for a while.
We'll take just a couple of minutes and run around the room. If you guys want to, from your groups, just kind of share out a couple of the big maybe ahas or questions, things that you got out of that discussion. And then I'm gonna have you guys spend a little bit of time trying to call each other and how you feel that. So start with you guys, is that all right?
We talked more about like classroom use, I guess. We have 2 elementary teachers, elementary counselor, and a PE teacher. Five was talking about maybe they have so many 5 teachers, maybe going into 2 groups. But then collaborating maybe through this video thing with the 2 groups so you make sure the whole district's on the same page. Elementary use Skype or Mystery Skype, so talking about possibly using this as a way to do it, to like the chat on the side that you could have as well. They're in 2 different buildings, high school and elementary, so we talked about collaboration in that way, especially those that are departmentalized. So we do PLCs together, which is great because we have some K-12 initiatives, but I sometimes I would love collaboration with the elementary counselor, so maybe that could be a possibility with another person in a different district.
That's something I brought up yesterday by another counselor.
Yeah.
Was because of being such singletons.
Yeah.
That was actually the Northern Cass Coast.
Oh, on the other one.
Oh, you're the other one? Well, both of you do that. You guys must have had that conversation a couple of times. That's funny. Yeah, Alicia brought that up yesterday, that, you know, being able to reach out to other places rather than just the people in your building that you do get to talk to all the time. You know, because you do have that relationship with them. You do have those conversations, but yet, you know, one of the things. Yeah, and that's what she's talking about, like your guys' differences, what you guys do, and how, you know, sometimes being able to pull from somebody that's doing the same thing.
Yeah.
You know, even though you're both counselors in the same department. That's what we talk about, like CTE. In any of our programs, I don't care if it's your facts, your business, you know, I'm in the engineering end of things. You know, we have a construction teacher at North High, and then the other teacher is teaching production, and the other teacher is teaching engineering. None of them are teaching the same thing. They're the same department, but none of them are teaching the same things. They need that contact with people that are teaching the same things as well. So yeah, these become great vehicles. Love the classroom end of it. I use this because obviously, again, curriculum is end of the world of mine in computer-based instruction. I use this in my classroom constantly, especially when I have something that I want students to be able to get back at, where maybe it's a demo or a lecture, something that's just that really important. I don't use it all the time just because I get tired of clicking buttons every day if I wanted to do that. But when I have some of those bigger things that I want to make sure, or if I come in, I'm going to do some sort of demo today and I pop up Power School and there's 6 kids missing or 7 kids missing, I don't readjust my schedule. I pop this up and I record it and they can come watch it afterwards. It saves me a lot of guff by just being a real quick click. Yeah, so that's a great direction to go, not just with PLC. How about you guys?
Sorry, we were a little excited that we got the video over.
Well, that's our next thing we're gonna do. We're off track. Susan and I went to school together. So. You don't necessarily recognize everybody after 20 years.
Well, these guys were just talking about how like we could meet with the facts teachers in the other 2 high schools just to get together that way. Using this. Just talking about the same thing with math. Sorry.
We talked about having things prepared before, more than agenda topics, ready to go.
Yep, and that was a really good point. That was something that I talked with them a little bit about. When you do this type of a meeting, it is very advantageous to have it planned out before you go into it. Again, I go back because, again, Denise and I use this quite a bit. So, like, we have a running agenda that we keep in Google Docs, and we just put next meeting, and we start building that agenda, and then we schedule a meeting. And then we've got everything already pre-recorded. We already have an agenda. We walk in, we know what we're gonna discuss, what we're gonna do. And we run that in a Google Doc to the side. So if something comes up, I have somebody come to me with a question on, hey, we wanna do some curriculum writing on this class, but we only need like half a day, you know, can we get that set up? So then I'll throw that on that agenda to make sure I talk with her that, yes, we have money budgeted to do it, and yada, 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 yada. So we build that kind of back channel thing and that agenda and those pieces to the side, but we do plan it ahead of time in a fashion. And how formal you want to go with that planning, is entirely up to your group, but it is very advantageous to plan ahead of time. So that was a really good one. I like that one. What about you guys? I want to make sure I give you guys some time to call before we get to lunch.
We were thinking we weren't really wanting to video ourselves and things. We just want to be able to be in other places of town or different towns and communicate with each other while working on. But I see a feature here where there is a comment place.
Okay, those comments, that's something that you, that's a pre-set up deal with broadcasts where people can make comments ahead of time. And so it doesn't work like your chat does. You'd want to use your chat for that. But yeah, and I don't mess with it a lot because it's kind of clunky and it hasn't worked well when I've tried to use it with groups, but you can set up a meeting ahead of time is the idea. So I set up a meeting ahead of time. Not everybody's going to be there. They can pre-make comments and ask questions before you start the meeting. So maybe that would be a place to put an agenda. And so then when you go and start the meeting, you have all of this information that was put on by everybody else. And so that would kind of take the place of like that Google Doc that I was talking about where we build an agenda. We would do it that way because that's just kind of clunky. It just doesn't work real well. Through my experience, maybe it'll work well for you and I'm just not very good with it. But that's always a potential. And it is hard sometimes. That was something that was brought up yesterday too. And that's one of the things I like about doing a whole room when you do it. Not everybody wants that thing on their face. I mean, some people do have a little bit of a problem with that. For me, and I guess this is my personal opinion of it, but I have found that when you set it up as a room where it's not really that much different than, because everybody's looking at everybody anyway, so everybody's looking at everybody anyway, it's not focused on you as an individual. And so a lot of times that's a little more comfortable for people. But like I said, that was one that was brought up yesterday too. I mean, there are definitely people that don't like to have their face put there. Vince obviously does because he can crown himself.
You can set up your
And-
picture though, can't you? You can set like, instead of a live feed of yourself.
Yeah, you can come in as a call, I believe, where it doesn't put your video, or you can just turn your video off. So you can still be in the meeting. Get it to pop up here. So I could go in here and I can just turn off the camera. So then it has the picture, but you see it's moving. Stops when I quit talking, comes back on. My audio is still there. So you can be in that meeting and it's just showing your profile picture if you don't want to have a video on you. So you can manually shut that camera off. Come on, turn back on. There we go. And then turn your camera back on. So you do have that option if you get into a meeting and you don't want to have that video. Sometimes you have people that don't have a video camera on their computer and it'll still operate. You'll still be able to have that vocal conversation without it. So those are some good ones. What you guys?
I mean, the biggest thing I think, you're asking what we talked about?
Yep.
Biggest thing was just more or less, how to use it. And I thought the recording aspect was really cool where, I mean, it's almost like, for the people that are gone or something, somebody's schedule doesn't fit, that it records it. And I thought that, I did not know that, and I thought that was a really good option. So I think that allows a lot of people to get access that maybe couldn't previously.
And I'm looking at it from the standpoint of being the ELL coordinator for the district. I'll be able to reach out to, my counterparts around the state and just collaborate with them, kind of what everyone else said.
And I think a lot of this stuff, it gets to be just the exposure and the practice. knowing it's there, knowing what it can do. And the last few minutes of this, so I'll let everybody kind of trickle out at the end. I am going to want you guys to spend a little bit of time. A lot of you start calling each other anyway. Try to get this to work out for you as we kind of trickle out. But also with that and that kind of coordination piece that Vince just brought up, if anybody wants to spend any more time on this or has any other questions, contact me. I am more than happy to get together with anybody outside of Tech Camp and work through some of this. If you don't have necessarily support for it or whatever, I'm more than happy to help out a little bit. Because as we keep going, we keep talking about all of the coordination through the districts, all of the sharing, trying to PLC. We want everybody to communicate. We want people to use these tools. I want to be able to talk with the counselors at Northern Cal. You know, it makes a lot easier.
Really help us in the counseling.
Not necessarily on the counseling end of it, you know, but, and that's kind of an interesting one. One of the first times I ran this, where I demoed this for the district, when people in the district, we were working with the AIC program at Northern Cass, and we had Lucas up at Northern Cass, Denise was over here in West Fargo, and then I was sitting in my office back in Pelican, and we did a conference planning call with it to get him used to using it because he's been using it with the class this last semester. And so, you know, it does take some learning. I mean, we spent an afternoon with it to get that instructor familiar and comfortable. And with that said, in doing that distance, I brought it up earlier, your internet connection is a huge thing with this. It's been working really good. I was giving Ed guff yesterday that I was going to try to crash his system, and everybody was able to use it over the Wi-Fi, which really surprised me, and we didn't have any issues. If you are going to do meetings, plug in with a blue cable to a jack in your wall. Do not use your Wi-Fi. It's been working today. The backup exists here, so I could plug it in. It worked yesterday as well, so I did run it on the Wi-Fi. But you'll start seeing glitches in here, and sometimes you'll lose video feeds. It'll give you a lot of guff sometimes, and it's because it uses so much bandwidth. You know, it's that whole concept, the information highway is only so wide, and this is a lot of cars, or a really big truck, and it's taking up a lot of room. So when you try to run that through the Wi-Fi, you've got a narrower band per se to work fast really easily. So hardwire these. If you're going to use this consistently, hardwire it, plug them in. And that's where you're using like rooms and doing kind of conference concept. You also don't have as many people joining in, and that also helps keep that bandwidth down. So there's a couple of nerdy tech stuff. So if you guys don't have any more questions, I'd love for you to just spend a little time trying to connect. However that works out, we're kind of in the wrap up end here. So again, if anybody has any more questions, feel free to let me know. And I thank you guys very much for listening to me today.
Thank you.
Yeah, just try to call it. You get it?
Yeah, and I can show you that right now. Because I'll close this out. So now once I stop this